What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am here from the hotel room for the Mariners postgame recap. I apologize for not getting it up last night. Travel day. Couldn't get it in. So this is going to be a very, very quick postgame video. The main reason is I didn't get a chance to watch the game. So I'm just going to go through the box score a little bit, break it down. Before I do that, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like button. Please comment. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This team has frustrated me throughout the year, but I love you guys, so I wanted to get a post game in for this one, which the Mariners win 5-0. A really nice game. They get back to 500. Listen, I will never not be happy that my team won a game. I don't care how the season's going. I don't care if they're 10-80. Life's too short. Enjoy it when good things happen. But this win is great. That's awesome. They earn a split in the series where, quite honestly, felt like they were being outplayed for most of it, and they were able to get a split out of it against a decent baseball team in Minnesota. But again, we need this team to take steps, multiple steps. It's can't be one step and then one step back, and is a split against Minnesota in a vacuum a bad thing? Not really. In fact, I would say it's fine, but this team is 500. If they were 12 games over, I'd say, yeah, good job salvaging a split. It is a good job, but it's they need, what did I say the other day? Like all the close game goodwill that they can lose, they've kind of used it up already. They have to make ground. They have to win 3 out of 4. They have to get a sweep somewhere. They've got to go on a run. They did a little bit of that before the All-Star break. But now here back after the break, they're 3-4. So they're kind of back to playing 500. They need a run. They need to get 7 out of 8 somewhere, or 5 in a row. That they got to string something together. So great. Maybe this is the start of it. I keep saying there's still time to do that, but it's running short. And maybe this is a start. Got to start somewhere. So maybe this is it. But I feel like I've said that a lot this season, that maybe this is the game. But who knows? Maybe this is the game. Let's get into the game itself a little bit. Great start from George Kirby. Absolutely needed. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, 10 strikeouts. An ace-like performance from George Kirby. This team absolutely needed. Not only did they need it with the bullpen being off and being taxed and everything the last few days, but they just needed it from a momentum standpoint. When you're struggling and you're kind of going back and forth and can't find your way, the best thing you can have in baseball is a pitcher going out there, a starting pitcher, and dominating. Because no one can control a game in any sport, maybe outside a quarterback, like a starting pitcher can, to set the tone. I've talked about that with like Castillo. It's what they've kind of needed from Luis. And he was fine yesterday, or 2 days ago now. But this is really what they needed, that just dominant start. Matt Brash, 1 inning, 1 strikeout, no hits, no walks. Brash is back. It's almost like when you're not getting BABIP to death every time you go out there, you can be a pretty good pitcher. I'm not saying that was the only reason Brash was struggling, but it's good to see Matt Brash back to the pitcher he can be, and then Sewald locks it down in the 9th. So obviously, you throw a shutout, pitching did well. Offensively, JP was 2 for 5, Julio 1 for 4. Good game for Gino, 2 for 3. And again, I didn't watch it, so I don't, know how these hits looked. I don't know if they're little 2-foot dribblers or crushed. But Gino 2 for 3 with a walk. Gino's OPS up to 727. That's good. They really needed him to get hot in the second half, and he has. One of the things I talked about needing, that they've gotten so far. That's a Gino heating up. Mike Ford homered. He was 1 for 4, the 2-run shot. Good to see, because he had been struggling. So good to see he's still running into a few and hitting it out. Teo, nice game, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. He had a home run. Another guy they absolutely need to have a big second half if he isn't traded. Cal 0 for 3. That's the next guy that's got to step up. And then Ty 0 for 3. Those are the next two that have to get going. Cade Marlowe 0 for 3 with a walk in his debut. I want to talk about the Jared Kelenic situation for a minute. I was going to do a separate video about it, but then I forgot the game was a 12:40 start, and I was like, I didn't want to put that out there in the middle of a game. So Jared Kelenic, if you don't know, if you're a Mariners fan, I'd be shocked if you didn't. Broke his foot, fractured his foot. That's a break, right? I don't know. Doctor's comment. And that, which stinks. That's awful. But the way it happened is he kicked a cooler after his strikeout in the 9th inning yesterday against Duran. And I see a lot of people kind of on Twitter going, oh man, look how much Jared Kelenic, because he was almost visibly crying in that press conference. And I respect that. I'm sure he does feel terrible, but I'm sorry, it's just not an acceptable thing. Like, you got to control your emotions, man. You're an adult. Like, you can't do that. I have sympathy as a human being about it. Like, that stinks that he's out maybe for the season. So for that, I do feel. And we've all been angry at times, and we've all let our emotions get out of hand. But you have to control it. Like, and I know he probably gets that, but you let your team down. That's a big loss for this team. Now you're going to have to rely on Cade Marlowe. Now you almost have to keep A.J. Pollock, who talked about probably DFAing. Well, now you kind of need that depth there in the outfield. So that's hurting your team. It's not being a good teammate. And the press conference is nice that he feels that, he let him down and he acknowledges that. But you got to know that before you do it. It's called controlled aggression. You can be aggressive. You can be frustrated. But, I mean, to fracture a foot kicking a cooler, you got to kick that thing pretty hard. I mean, so it's not like he just went up and tapped it and something happened. He had to give that a pretty good hit. And that's not acceptable. It's not. And he was having his best season of his career. And, even if he finished with the numbers he had, like, right now, I think all things considered with what Kelenic has been through, we would have called that a successful season. At least I would have, knowing what we've seen from him the last couple years. And it puts a damper on it. And if you can't control your emotions, you will not be. And that's in anything you do in life. If you can't control your emotions like that, success won't find you. It's just you have to be able to keep it under wraps. I know some people are like, oh, I love this is what we need, the fire, the passion. No, that is exactly what the Mariners don't need. They need fire and passion. They need it on the field. They need it. Listen, if he fractured his foot because he was hustling and ran to a wall, like that, I would tip my cap. Like, he's trying to make a play. That's not trying to make a play. Like, this team needs to win baseball games, and you don't win baseball games by kicking coolers. You win it by scoring more runs, by doing what George Kirby did today. George Kirby is cool as a cucumber type player, and he went out and dominated today. That's what wins you baseball games. Being angry and mad at yourself is fine, and you can be frustrated. That's good that he wants that, but you've got to work on getting better, not breaking your foot, getting angry. So, like I said, as a human being, sympathize. It stinks. But I'm not one of these people like on Twitter going, oh, I hope people aren't mean to Jared. And, oh, man, look at that fire and that passion. It's not acceptable. And if I were on the coaching staff, I would say that. Like, this is not, like, I feel bad, again, as a human being. I keep saying that. But, no, you don't get a lot of sympathy. You did this. Like, you broke your foot. Like, I mean, you went out and actively did this. So, I mean, it's sort of like the person that I don't want to go into any weird things about, like, it's, I don't have a lot of sympathy for it. You can't poke the bear and then go, why'd the bear attack me? What happened? Like, you went up to it and started hitting it with a stick. That's life. So we'll see. So Cade Marlowe in his MLB debut 0-for-3 with a walk. Hopefully Marlowe and hopefully A.J. Pollock. They kind of need him to get going now. And Caballero 0-for-3. The reason Cole Wong probably still on this roster is the fact that Caballero's cooled off big time. I still would say get rid of Cole Wong and just, if anything, bring Haggerty back. Something to mix it up. But regardless, the Mariners do get a victory. We'll take it. Like I said, maybe it's a star sum. They're still 500. And if you're at 500, you're a big winning streak away from getting back into it. I'm not saying like it's going to happen. It may not. But if they can find a way to rattle off 6, 7 in a row or something, you got a shot. You got a shot. So, good win for the Mariners yesterday. I will maybe be back tonight with a post-game recap. It just depends. Hope everybody has a great Friday morning, afternoon. Take care, everybody. As always, go Mariners. Peace.